Hi friends, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel, Sunset Bow Tarot. So this is going to be my June favorites video. I was really busy in the month of June. I had a lot going on, which you'll hear about. So there's probably not going to be as many things in this video as normal, but I'm going to round out the time with a few more shout outs to some YouTube channels that I've been really loving, and just still have some decks and some books and other things to talk about. So just to get started, the most important thing that happened to me in terms of memories and exciting things from the month of June is that I actually got a new job, which is kind of a huge deal for me because I have been working for the same employer for over 10 years and I wasn't even really looking for a new job. I hadn't applied for this job or anything. I got contacted out of the blue by a company on LinkedIn and invited to apply for this job, and went through a really extensive, somewhat strenuous interview process and ended up getting the job. And so I've given notice at my old job. I'm super happy and excited about it. It's really kind of exactly the job that I was like looking for or envisioning if you sort of asked me what my ideal next step would be. And the other really nice thing about it is that it's a fully remote job, so I get to work from home, which I am thrilled about because, for starters, I am super introverted and I am just much more productive at home when I can be in the quiet and I can be in my own space. And, you know, I still have the kind of job where I spend a lot of my day interacting with people on the phone and stuff like that. So, you know, I still have a lot of interaction with people, but it's nice to be able to do that from the comfort of your own home. I also live in Minnesota, which means that any day in the winter that you don't have to go after a snowstorm and drive to work and risk your life on the road and then potentially, you know, trudge through a bunch of snow to get into your office building, which has been the story of my life for the past 10 years, I won't have to do that anymore. So I'm super excited about it. And it's just was a very out of the blue thing that I am thrilled about. So that's been kind of the most important thing that happened to me in the month of June. So in terms of favorite decks from the month of June, the deck that was actually my favorite in the month of June is kind of a surprise to me and might come as a surprise to other people who know me too. And that is because the deck is the Guardian Angel Tarot, formerly by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. My copy just now says Radley Valentine, which I am completely fine with. So the thing about the Guardian Angel Tarot, I have never been a fan of Doreen Virtue. I'd never had any of her decks before. They just kind of weren't my cup of tea. And then, you know, when she did her whole thing, I was really quite put off by that. But there are a lot of people that I've seen in the tarot community who, despite Doreen Virtue kind of not being their thing, they do actually have a love for this deck. And so in terms of my interest in this deck, I have kind of a specific reason for it. And that reason is that my mom's grandma, who I believe passed away before I was born, she's been gone for a really long time, but my mom had a really close relationship with her and also has been told for most of her life that she looks a lot like her. And so my mom had, again, just a really special relationship with her grandma, and her grandma's name was Antonetta, but she went by Nettie, so this was my mom's grandma Nettie. My mom has always thought of Grandma Nettie as being her guardian angel. It's just this thing in my family where anytime something big is going on, anytime somebody has a job opportunity or is trying to get into college, or, you know, anytime there's something big and exciting happening where people are really hoping for a successful outcome, my mom just always says, well, I'll just send up a prayer to Grandma Nettie. And it's one of those things where, you know, that old saying where people would say something's half in jest and then wholly in earnest, you know, where you sort of treat it a little bit like a joke, but in reality it's like dead serious. That's how my family sort of is about the Grandma Nettie thing. Like, we kind of believe pretty strongly that Grandma Nettie is actually helping us out and looking down on us. And this deck, in addition to being called the Guardian Angel Tarot, like if you just start looking at the images, I mean, it's a very like, whoopsies, like Victorian style deck. There's a lot of like lace to it and pastel colors. And I mean, this is like the Grandma Nettie deck. This is my Grandma Nettie deck. Like, that's clearly what it's for. And especially this month, since I was applying for a job and that I was really hoping I was going to get, this deck just really felt right, and I used it a lot. It just kind of felt like a direct through line to Grandma Nettie. So I've been really loving it, and I think it's a really beautiful deck. You know, again, it is a very gentle deck. You know, it's not exactly a deck that's gonna give you hard truths. It's the kind of deck that's gonna like give you a hug and tell you it's all gonna be okay. But I really do like the messages that are written on each of the cards, and you know, the cardstock is nice. It's gilded edges, and it's a really pretty deck. And like I said, I kind of used it a lot this month because I was spending a lot of time this month sending up prayers to Grandma Nettie. So anyway, so the Guardian Angel Tarot, I'm just gonna call it the Grandma Nettie deck. That's what it is for me now. So anyway, so I've been really loving that one. The other deck that I've really been loving this month and using a lot is the Eflorescent Tarot, which I don't know why it took me so long to get this deck, because I have another one of Peony Coin Archer's decks, which is the Little Monsters Tarot, and I love that deck and I use it all the time, and I really love her artwork and her art style. In fact, I did get this deck in the black and white version first, at the same time that I got the Pear Tree Oracle, which I've done a full walkthrough of. And then, but I was sort of like, I really liked the black and white version, but I also had seen some walkthroughs of the colored version, and I really liked that one too. And then I saw that somebody who actually lives in my town had posted a copy of this deck for sale on one of the Facebook, you know, swap and sale groups. And so I literally just like got in touch with her and then drove over to her house one day and bought this deck from her. So I managed to get the color version, which is great because there aren't currently copies of this version for sale on the Eflorescent Tarot Etsy store. So being able to get a copy of this was really, really cool. I believe she's probably planning on printing more copies of the version that's in color, but just right now she's sold out of it. So, and being able to just like run over to somebody's house who lives not too far from me and pick up a copy of this deck and not like pay for any shipping or anything was kind of awesome. So it seemed like it was sort of meant to be. So I've been really loving this deck. I love her art style. I love just the detail of the drawings. It reminds me of Edward Gorey. I like how all of the people have a sort of melancholy look on their face. I really love it. It's just it's a great deck. It's very readable, and it's got this wonderful detailed artwork. I love this devil card. I think it's amazing. So this is another one that I've just been really, really loving. So as long as I got the Eflorescent Tarot out, I want to show off this beautiful bag that I've got it in, because I need to give a shout out to an Etsy shop that makes wonderful bags. And now I gotta say, you guys know I love my Peggy bags, right? Like, I've done many unboxings of Peggy bags and I have tons of Peggy bags, but on those occasions when I can't find exactly what I'm looking for on Peggy's shop, I can almost always find something on Betsy's shop and get a Betsy bag. And Betsy has the shop, The Bee and the Snake, on Etsy, and she also makes absolutely stunning tarot bags. So I bought a number of bags from her as well, and they're beautifully constructed. She always sends lots of little like goodies in the package. She always includes some little paper cutouts of flowers and a little sachet of rose petals, and she usually puts in a little crystal. So there's lots of extra goodies in her packages, and the bags are always beautifully packaged. They're well made and they're really, really wonderful. So, you know, obviously Sparks Creations, Peggy's shop, is a fabulous shop to get bags on, but I also have to shout out Betsy's shop, The Bee and the Snake. So I will link both of those down below. But I've got lots of Peggy's bags and lots of Betsy's bags because I just love them both. So I haven't actually done a ton of TV watching in the month of June. Mostly this is because one of the big things that happens every summer is that my sister and my niece and nephew come to Minnesota for a long visit. They're almost always here for a month to 6 weeks, and they stay with my parents, but my parents are live like 3 miles down the road from me. So I'm basically over there like every night after work, hanging out with the family, and that's just what I do. when they're here. I am not at home very much, and I don't spend a lot of time watching television. So I don't really have any TV to talk about. In terms of reading, I have been reading a book. I'm like, a book called A Discovery of Witches, as though you guys haven't heard of it. Basically, I'm sure everybody who watches this channel has probably heard of it. So I finally am reading that book. I am really excited to see the TV show too, but I wanted to read the book first, so I'm doing that first, and then once I'm done with that, I'm looking forward to watching the TV show. But I know that there are a lot of people who are really big fans of that book and show, so I'm really excited to join in on the fun. So finally, I wanted to give some shout outs to some YouTube channels that I've been really enjoying recently, and I don't know, I might make channel shout outs like just normal part of my monthly favorites video, but I've got a couple of channels that I really want to mention. So one of them is Jilly from Little Zen Crone. I absolutely love her channel. I love her energy. I love the measured way she speaks about things. She just seems to have the kindest, most wonderful personality, and I just think she's fabulous. So I really enjoy Jilly from Little Zen Crone. Also Amy from Strength Reversed. I think she's really funny. She's just one of those really down-to-earth seeming kind of people, so I just really like her. She seems really matter-of-fact about things. I think she's a teacher, like a junior high teacher or something like that, and I can sort of tell, you know, how she has the perfect personality to kind of deal with adolescents all day long and sort of like be really fun and awesome, but also not take any nonsense. Like, I really think that her channel is great. I've really been loving Y from On the Cusp Tarot. Y is hilarious. You should watch his channel. The way he edits his videos is really funny, and he's one of those people who can talk about very serious subjects, but always does it with so much just love and good humor, and I just really think he's great. So I've been loving his channel. I've also been really enjoying Jen the Curious Cloud. I just love the way that she talks about things. She's another person who seems really fun, you know, where you're sort of like, I think I'd have fun hanging out with you. And I think she's really great, so I've been enjoying her channel a lot as well. B from Akali Sunflower, I've really liked her channel for a long time. I think B is wonderful. I'm going to be like the 50th person to mention how she has the best nails in the world, and anytime she does a video where she's like showing off a deck close up or something like that, her nails are just like goals. But also she has a wonderful voice in the community. I love the way she speaks about things. I love actually her physical voice. I love listening to it. She recently did a shout outs video where she talked about all of the different channels from the perspective of her grandkids. It was so delightful. B is just great. The final person I want to talk about is Renee from Meadowlark Mystic. I really love her channel, and actually also, you guys should follow her on Instagram. I love her Instagram. She's a really good photographer, and it seems like every time she goes outside, she takes all these beautiful nature photographs of trees and flowers, and it just makes her Instagram a lovely thing to look at on a daily basis. I just love looking at it. So you should follow her on YouTube and Instagram for sure. Again, these are only some of the channels that I love. There are a lot of other people. Like I said, I think I'm going to make this a monthly thing for at least a while, because there are tons of other channels that I really love who I haven't mentioned yet. So stay tuned for July. The final thing that I wanted to talk about with respect to YouTube is just a channel that obviously has a massive following, and I'm sure a lot of people are aware of it, but I've just been really enjoying it, and that is Jana Yinton's channel. She is a vlogger who lives in Sweden, in rural Sweden, in a tiny little cabin, and she sings, and she looks like an elf from Lord of the Rings. She does these beautiful like aerial drone photography videos where she shows sort of the area that she lives in. I think it's fabulous. There's so much beautiful stuff on her channel. Personally, I have a lot of Swedish ancestry, and I've always wanted to go to Sweden just because a lot of my family's from there, and so her channel is kind of like the next best thing, I feel like, because it's just so much beautiful scenery of Sweden. I just generally find it really soothing. It's one of those nice channels that you can sort of watch before you go to bed, because it just is all full of pretty things. That's it for my June favorites, so thanks so much for watching, you guys, as always, and I'll catch you again with a new favorites video when July is over. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.